Hello, it's Nikki. How are you? I hope you are having a good day. Thank you for stopping by. I wanted to give you a bit of an insight behind the scenes on passive income. I hate the phrase. I'm so sorry I keep using it. Basically, I haven't come up with an alternative yet, but just so we're clear and on the same page, what I mean by passive income is that income that comes in without you necessarily being in the room. Now, I'm not going to try and convince you that you just think of an idea and suddenly it starts to pay you. You have to actually create the thing and get it out there and market and do other things that drive people towards your traffic. And I don't want to falsely inform you there, because I think so often there's so much chat on the internet about how you just build one sales funnel, it pays for itself, and it turns over six figures without you having to fiddle with it or even spend a lot of time perfecting it. I don't necessarily believe that. I believe in positive mindset and all that kind of stuff, and I believe that things can be easy. But ultimately, nobody gets to skip the work completely. So, passive income, in my experience, has been something that I've gradually added to my menu of services over time. I grew up very much in the sense of you get paid when you show up. It was an exchange, it was a one-to-one. So I would be booked for something, I would show up, I would invoice for the time that I'd spent there, and I would be paid for those certain amount of hours. However, that system was flawed for me from the beginning, and it took me so long to figure this out. I trained as an actor, so I moved to London when I was 18, and in my third year at drama school, I got an agent and I got two jobs back to back. So I actually left drama school 5 months early, which was great and exciting, but also it was a very steep learning curve because I was literally thrown in at the deep end. So that was great in the beginning. I had these two jobs back to back, but then I had that moment of, now what? How do I sustain myself in London? How do I remain flexible for auditions? How do I keep creative after 3 years of being fully immersed in that world? How do I juggle all those pieces? And also, I was 21, 22. I wanted to go out with my mates. I want to have a great time. I wanted to be spontaneous. And I really wanted to honor all of those pieces. And the thing that I really got into strife with, I guess, and there was a bit of an unease, was that I was trying to create a wage from 9 to 5 that didn't really work alongside my acting career. So I knew that I had to have consistent work because I had bills to pay and all of that jazz. But there was always a lack of congruency. I was always asking a boss if they could release me so I could quickly nip into Soho and do an audition. Then it would run over, and then suddenly I'd be confirmed for a job and I'd have to rejig my schedule. And I just felt like I was chasing my tail the whole time, and the flow of my lifestyle and my business didn't really work together. And that continued for a lot of years of me juggling work. So it was in 2011 when I turned 30. I had a few deaths in the family. There's nothing like a few deaths, right, to reevaluate everything and go, what the F am I doing with my life? And I had that moment of going, right, okay, what is this? What am I doing? Let's get serious. I knew I'd turned 30. I'd been with my partner by about 5 years at that point. I knew I wanted to have children as well. So in my head, I was going, right, I've got 10 years to hopefully have children and to sort my life out and feel like I'm on the right path, whatever that is. It's always changing, right? So I trained as a coach, and very much it was encouraged to do that one-to-one stuff. I know now we're really saturated with online marketing, what is out there, sales funnels, make six figures while you sleep, all this kind of stuff. But it wasn't necessarily around so much at that time. And if it was advertised to you on YouTube by a man in like a gold Lamborghini or something. And I definitely didn't resonate with that message. I didn't see women doing that. I didn't sort of feel like that was for me, rightly or wrongly, but I certainly wasn't their target audience. So I kind of switched it off and moved it to the side. And then in 2014, I knew that I'd come to the end of one chapter and it was ready for another. So at that point, I was working as an agent 3 days a week. I was trying to do my acting career. I was starting and growing, but slowly but surely, my coaching business. And I kept getting these niggles like, come on now. No, it's time to jump. It's time to go. And it didn't make financial sense by any means. And of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I just have to caveat that and say, please don't sort of take this as this is what you should do. This is all I'm doing is telling my story here. But I kept getting these shoves. Go on, move, make a bold move, shake things up. It's time, it's time. And it got to the point where I couldn't ignore that anymore. And that was November 2014. And I didn't have an alternative. I didn't have anywhere that I was going to go. I just had this sense, as Marie Forleo would say, that I would figure it out. And I did. And there have been some bits that have taken a lot longer to figure out. But certainly by making that bold move, by jumping, by trusting, by doing the work, by taking the action, it did pay off. So some of the things that changed within that moment was in December 2014, I released my first book. It was my book for actors, Be Ready for Your Lucky Break. So this is when I'm really talking about passive income. What I found was from being an agent 3 days a week, from being an actor and from being a qualified life coach, I had these combinations of skills. I'd seen behind the scenes of an actor's life from being an actor, but also from the industry side as well. And I knew I had loads of information, and every time I got a chance to speak to an actor, it was like I had this little secret, like, no, just do this, this and this, and it will change everything. And it got to the point where I was like, I've got to put this together. I've got to write this. Never written a book before, but I did it. I had 2 editors. I wrote it in 6 months. And I knew that if I could combine all this information, I was really going to help people. And the thing with actors is because of the inconsistency of work, there isn't necessarily a huge budget for the average jobbing actor. So forget the Hollywood superstars of the like $5 million a year, whatever, or film, whatever it might be. For most actors, they have to make considered purchases. So they weren't looking at coaching one-to-one with me, but they could do a lower cost purchase. Of course, this could be money mindset. And I know you might be thinking like, well, if they wanted to do it, they would. But I'm just giving you the average here. So I launched this in December 2014. I launched it through my own platform, and it's also on Amazon. And I have to say that 5 years on, almost 5 years on, it continues to pay for itself. So it did take a lot of hours to put together this book. I'm not saying that it didn't. It really did. It was very much a kind of dedicated time. But it is something that continues to pay. Now, it isn't something that will allow me to buy a castle in 2 years' time, necessarily, the way that things are going at the moment. But it does give me a chunk of money every single month that can be for the miscellaneous things that I can buy, I don't know, the coffee that I want, or it keeps that sort of money flowing. And for me, this is really key in terms of my business and my brand. And this is why I have lots of different income streams. For me, in my current life right now, with 2 small children, offering up something that is going to be for a year. So I know there are some coaches that go, right, I'm going to charge 10 grand, I'm going to fill 10 spots, and that's going to be my guaranteed income for the year. For me at the moment, that just doesn't work. And also, it's not necessarily the way that I want to serve. Because I have this portfolio career, because I'm an actor, a coach, a writer, a podcaster, I do events, I do all kinds of things. I collaborate with people. I like to have that pick and mix menu of how my week runs. And that's definitely... And you could say that brings a level of stress sometimes because last minute things happen, or logistics or childcare or things like that. But on the whole, that is the way that I like to work. But this is when the passive income piece comes in. And this is a way that people can really get to know you with a lower cost option. So there's something like B School, for example. If you haven't heard of B School, have a look at it. It's Marie Forleo's course. I think she launched it in 2009 or something. It's been going a long time. I did it in 2013. It was $2,000, I believe, and that's just one of the courses that I've purchased over time. It's very high end. Marie looks amazing. It's set in a sort of studio apartment in New York. It looks gorgeous. All the graphics work together. And I know that as soon as people mention courses, they might compare it to something like B School. But here's the thing, you don't have to do that right now for something to sell. You can work up to that when you've got that budget, when you've got that team. Let's face it, Marie is not doing that all by herself. She is working with lots of people in order to make this thing come to life. What I'm talking about is the stuff that people ask you all the time, the stuff that clogs up your inbox, the stuff that people want to pick your brains over, the secrets that you have that you may be able to share with somebody. This could be a really lovely top up of your income every single month. And I think we have to remember here that people are talking about 100 grand or 7 figures or all of these things. Actually, 200, 300, 400, a grand additional to your one work, whatever it might be, is not money to be sniffed at. If you do the maths times 12 over a year, it can significantly boost your brand, but also your bank account as well. And that's work that you can create once and it then continues to sell going forward. My baby is snorting in the background. So I want you to think about it. And also I want you to give yourself permission that you are ready now to do this. And this is why I want to work in this way going forward on a month-to-month basis of helping you every step of the way. I don't want you just to buy a course and kind of think that the work is done right there and like, okay, I'm done. I've purchased it. I don't really have to think about it. It's the work that you need to do alongside that. And sometimes that can be the accountability. That can be the mindset stuff where you have that wobble of going, can I really do this? Am I enough of an expert? What if the technology goes wrong? I haven't got a customer services team. What if somebody asks for a refund? All of those things. And believe me, you only get to know those answers by actually going through the process, because when it's in your head and it's living there, that is when it's going to be all kinds of overwhelming. It really isn't. We keep it simple. I start with you one-to-one at the beginning of the month and we brainstorm everything. We work through the path of least resistance, I guess. So you don't have to do that $2,000 course unless you want to, but you probably wouldn't be able to do that by the end of the month. You might be Superwoman, but we'll see. But looking at your easy options, I think sometimes people go, well, I can't do it until at least I've got, 6 products or something like that. Start with one, see how you go, build up from there. Actually, it took me a while from 2014 into where I am today in building up much bigger, higher end courses that sell. Also, I'm going to share with you mistakes that I've made. So there's loads of resources, loads of behind the scenes stuff, really taking it through step by step. And because you've got that accountability with me, you can say, what do you think of this technology? How does this sales page read? Is it clear what I'm doing? How can I simplify this, etc., etc. So I'm really excited to get started. I want this to be available for you as well. It's really important, especially in this time where people have got kids, adult responsibilities, parents that they need to look after. Let's not forget, self-care or maybe reading a book or all of those things. Please don't feel like you have to just cram your diary full and work in this traditional way. That was invented by men many, many years ago that quite frankly is really outdated. We need time and space to create, to live, to breathe, to reflect. all of that good stuff. So we start next week, and if you're watching this at a later date, this is something that begins at the beginning of every month. So if you're watching this in the middle of the month, come on over and let me know, and I'll let you know when the next availability is. But please don't convince yourself this isn't for you. It really is. It will make a huge difference, not only to you, to your family, to your friends, to the way that you're showing up in business and life. And I can't wait to share everything that I've got. And also, I will learn from you. I always learn so much from my clients as well. So I look forward to getting started. As always, if... It's my baby making very funny noises. As always, if there's anything that I haven't covered, if you've got questions, if you want to know whether this is for you, please DM me on Instagram or email me, ask me the question, send me a voice note, whatever way works for you. And I look forward to hearing from you. I will see you in a bit.